Welcome back, and if you've watched the news lately or any time this past year, you've probably noticed an increase in mortgage fraud cases and investment scams. Now, unfortunately, anyone can fall victim to this fraud. So with us today is CPA Gary Opper of Levy Opper LLC to explain the tricks of the trade. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Belkys.
So there's been quite a bit of mortgage fraud that we've seen throughout the year. Do you think that people should still be concerned, or you think it's past us already?
Belkys, I think they still should be concerned. In August and September 2007, when the mortgage crisis happened, all of a sudden the people that were involved, that were fraudsters, the unprofessionals, they didn't exit the industry. They're still there. They may have gone deeper underground, but they're still out there trying to perpetrate fraud with people.
So, what can you do? I mean, it seems like a very scary thing. There's still a lot of people out there that want to take advantage of the market. We've got a great market for people to invest in now, but they might be worried about scams. What can we do to protect ourselves?
Well, for the most part, obviously most people are honest and ethical. There is a small minority of people who are fraudsters, but you need to be careful. Obviously anything that's too good to be true is probably too good to be true. You should also be careful about people asking for money up front. There's only a few things that people can ask for up front, possibly an appraisal or something like that. But any amounts that you ask for up front is a cause for concern. There's also organizations that you can make sure that your mortgage originator works for or actually is a member of, such as the Florida Association of Mortgage Professionals, which has a code of ethics that they should adhere to. And if you look out for those type of things, then you should be okay. And also, basically your gut. God gave us, if something happens and we feel uncomfortable about something, we probably should be uncomfortable about that.
Now, are there any laws that protect us, that protect consumers at this point against mortgage fraud?
Yeah, there's a lot of laws that protect us. In fact, Congress has passed, both federally and state have passed laws to help protect us. One of the laws that's come into play is there's a SAFE Act. That was a federal law that was passed, and the states had to enact laws that help implement the SAFE Act. And one of the things is that everybody, including myself, I've been a mortgage professional for 24 years, I have to go out and have to retake the test to become licensed again. So everybody, no one's grandfathered in. Everybody's starting at the end of this year. We have to take a pre-licensing course. We have to take a federal and a state test. We have to be fingerprinted. We have to have a background check and a credit report. And all those things should help to eliminate some of the people that were in the industry that were unprofessional.
Now, we've seen the government be reactive to this crisis. Are there any solutions that are current right now that we can talk about?
Well, there's a lot of solutions. I mean, some of the things that we should be doing is, even though with all this licensing, we probably should raise the bar even higher. I mean, we have, at most we had about 85,000 mortgage brokers in Florida, along with a lot of bankers. And that translated into way too much competition. And having so much competition, it bred unhealthiness. If we had less competition, but healthy competition, that would be less incentive for someone to have to do something illegal in order to think that they have to close a loan. Also, it would provide regulators with a smaller group of people in which they had to regulate.
So let's just give our viewers some ideas of what a mortgage scam or mortgage fraud is. For example, when you buy a house, let's say it's $200,000, and you want $50,000 more on top of that just for to fix the house up or whatever. Is that legal to do?
Well, what's legal to do is, obviously you have to go out and get an appraisal. And in the past, it was I wouldn't say predominant, but in a lot of cases, people would go out and they would get an appraisal, and it would be an inflated value of the appraisal. And a mortgage broker possibly be working with an appraiser, or the borrower, anywhere along the line, someone, we don't want to just say the mortgage brokers were all involved, but there were mortgage brokers involved, there were brokers involved, mortgage lenders involved, appraisers, realtors, and they would work with a realtor to inflate the value of the home, and obviously that would allow them to get more money out than what they should have gotten. Now that's still going on. However, it's a lot harder to do, and also in some cases, appraisers are valuing the properties lower than what they should be. Another thing that you mentioned was to go out and get home repairs, and you need to be careful with, a lot of times a home repair company is affiliated somehow with a mortgage company, and they'll encourage you to get a loan to fix your house up for whatever reason, and they may or may not be scrupulous. So what you should do is make sure that they're licensed whatever organization, if they're licensed for being a mortgage broker, they need to be licensed. If they're a contractor, they need to be licensed for whatever they're contracting for, whether that be roofing or repairs or general contracting or what have you. If they're licensed and they have insurance, and that's obviously goes a long way to making sure that you're going to get a fair shake on a transaction.
Is that the main type of mortgage fraud, where people ask for more money from the lender and then they use it for other purposes? Or?
I don't want to say it's a common, but yes, there is the element of that. What I consider it to be, it's sort of like driving up and down I-95. Anywhere you can get on I-95, there's lots of entrances. Unfortunately, there's lots of entrances that can lead to fraud, and that can be from anywhere along the line, whether it's a bar who's somehow creating documents, or the mortgage broker's creating documents. It can be in the document creation. It can be in the real estate value. It can be in the real estate title. So I mean, unfortunately, and that's part of the problem we have, is that it can be anywhere along the transaction, from the bar starting with an application to it going up to New York and being securitized. Anywhere along the line, and any person along the line can take and change documents or create something that creates fraud.
So eventually all of this is going to die down. The economy will go back to normal. Do you think, what can the government do to prevent this from happening again?
Well, the government actually, last year they passed a law, and they formed a Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission. And the commission has 10 members of the committee. 6 are Democrats and 4 Republicans. One of the members actually lives right here in South Florida. It's Senator Bob Graham, and he's on the commission. And they've been tasked with the duty to figure out what happened, why we're in this crisis, and to try to implement rules and procedures to help prevent that. And they have about 20 things they're looking at, and obviously they're allowed to add to that. Some of it is how mortgage brokers work. Some of it are some of the banks too big to fail? Was that a problem that we had? And it goes all along the line, the way we securitize mortgages. And they're going to make a recommendation to Congress at some point in the future as to what they think should be implemented so that we don't wind up in a crisis situation like this. Additionally, in that same act, there was $522 million that was appropriated over a 2-year period starting in October 1st, 2009, and for the next 24 months to actually go after mortgage fraudsters to enforce the laws that we have now. I mean, we do have laws to enforce it. They just need to be strongly enforced. So they're going after enforcement, and they're trying to also go after recovery of some of the losses that people have suffered.
And talking about enforcement, FBI has been out, as you said, trying to round up all these people involved in mortgage scams. What are your thoughts about these people and the punishment that should be given? What should be done with them?
Well, in addition to the FBI, there's many different agencies. There's the Postal Services is looking at them, the FBI, the Secret Service, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the State Attorney's Office. There's a whole group of people. In fact, there's a mortgage fraud task force that Obama created that has a lot of people working on this. Well, in a lot of cases, I mean, and I talk about this. Actually, I presented a paper to the Supreme Court on this topic, and some people in the industry, can be retrained, and they should be allowed to be in the industry. Some people just need to exit the industry. They need to be thrown out, and other people need to have jail time. There's just no two ways about it. It rises to the level that the crimes that they committed, they need to be, they need to make restitution. They need to pay the price for their crimes, and also to some degree, obviously, that's somewhat of a deterrent for other people, because obviously, if some people see people going to jail, it should be a deterrent for other people to commit crimes because they don't want to go to jail.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate your help and your insight on this issue, and we look forward to bringing you on the show in the future.
Thank you, Belkys.